I fell in love with my best friend's husband. I thought I could bury that feeling for the rest of my life. But 3 months ago, a crash threw my soul into Nina's body. Tonight is Dylan and Nina's 7th anniversary. Soft music, candlelight, a plate of sea bass dotted with gold leaf, and Dylan in a razor-sharp tux. The man who owns every heartbeat I've tried to silence. His eyes hold a tenderness so absolute that, for a second, the room feels like a church. Yet the woman he worships isn't me. It's the face I'm wearing. I'm Serena, squatter in Nina's skin. Every adoring glance lands like a blade. He sees her, not me. I drag an air that tastes of truffle and regret. Dylan, I want a divorce. He freezes, forks suspended, as though the words are in a foreign language. Finally he whispers, Nina, stop, this joke's got teeth. I'm not joking. I force my features into ice, but tears mutiny, sliding hot down my cheeks. No one here can measure the betrayal in every syllable. The man I've loved from the safety of shadows is an arm's length away, yet unreachable. I could keep the lie and steal his future, but the wrong would rot us both. I slide my chair back. Papers are drafted. Sign them when you get home. Then I run, past waiters, past stairs, heels cracking like gunshots across marble. Outside, winter air whips the tears sideways. Nina, come back. His voice fractures behind me. I never slow. I'm not her. I'm the echo that has to fade. 3 months earlier, Nina pounds on my door at 2 a.m. Soaked, reeking of tequila. Serena. He's cheating. I drive her home through rain that smells like copper. Headlights bloom from the left. A scream of tires. Then a sound like the world tearing. I wake in a hospital bed. Dylan's eyes are bloodshot. Serena didn't make it. I try to protest. Serena is right here. Until a mirror shows me Nina's face. My soul. Her pulse. A bookkeeping error of grief. Doctors call it miraculous. Dylan insists on 2 more weeks of tests. He shows up every evening, silent, reading The Great Gatsby under fluorescent hush. One dusk he strokes her hair. You feel different since the crash. I fake sleep, heart hammering against borrowed ribs. Discharge day. I move into their glass-walled house on the West Bluff. I rehearse the confession nightly. I'm not your wife. The words never survive daylight. After the restaurant meltdown, I check into a roadside motel that smells of bleach and old pizza. Alone, I still map Dylan's routines. The way he hums while brushing Nina's hair from her eyes. How he orders mango gelato even though he hates it because it's her favorite. My phone rings. Dylan. Calm as still water. 4:30. Civil. Bring the papers. He agrees faster than I feared. Fury flares, so he can run to her, whoever she is. At 4:15 I stand outside Civil. Wind needling through my coat. He's already there, suit wrinkled, jaw rough with neglect. He gestures to the chair beside him. Sit. I do. Nina. I turn. Nina's parents hurry up the steps. Faces I've called mom and dad since sophomore year potlucks. They wrap me in familiar lavender scent, and I almost crumble. But I'm Serena, and today I sign their daughter's marriage to death. Uncle, dad, mom. I caught myself and changed the words immediately. I knew Nina had come in person to talk me out of divorcing Dylan, but my mind was made up. I also knew the Nina watching from heaven would back me. Nina, do we really have to take it this far? Suddenly Dylan, who had been silent, spoke up. I instinctively turned my face away, only to collide head-on with those deep eyes of his. I flinched like I'd been shocked. Nina, you won't regret this? I heard the catch in his voice. I hesitated a long time, then nodded, hardening my heart. How could he possibly feel pain or reluctance? He must be putting on an act. That's the only explanation I allow myself. Then we'll do it your way. Dylan didn't look at me again. News that Dylan and Nina were divorcing exploded across both their Instagram feeds within hours. Every day my phone wouldn't stop ringing with calls from people we knew. They all asked the same thing. Why was I divorcing Dylan? Was the problem so bad it could only be solved by something as final as divorce? I answered no one. I had no idea what to say. I was still living in a hotel. I told Nina I needed space to sort out my feelings, so I wouldn't be coming home yet. I figured I'd go back once I'd fully settled into Nina's body. Once I could face Nina without giving myself away. That night a stomach cramp blindsided me. I couldn't even get out of bed and had to ask room service to run to the pharmacy for antacid. I never expected Dylan to be the one delivering it. What are you doing here? Still, the second I saw him he felt like a lifeline. Without a word he helped me sit up, poured a glass of warm water, and handed me a few brown tablets to swallow. Get some rest. Thank you. After a short rest I felt better. Whatever had brought him here, he'd pulled me through a bad moment. You're welcome. Dylan gave me a polite smile. I hope we can stay friends, even though we're divorced. My heart lurched, but he'd already turned and walked out. I'd always known Dylan was catnip to women ever since we were kids. I just never thought the effect would be be this ridiculous? Once word of the divorce spread, a rotating cast of women started orbiting him. I kept wondering which one of them was the mistress he'd been hiding on the side. Since I couldn't stick my own neck out, I paid top dollar for the best private investigator in town to tail Dylan 24/7. The findings floored me. Dylan ignored every fluttering skirt around him. He still clocked in at 9 and out at 5, with the occasional overtime. Sure, he went out for after-work drinks with colleagues, but according to the investigator, he never spoke to any woman for more than 5 minutes or exchanged more than 5 sentences. Impossible, I muttered. Photos don't lie. The PI laid out every shot he'd taken over the last few weeks. I flipped through them, nothing shady at all. Dylan was still the same Dylan, devoted to one woman. Never a random flirt. That evening Nina's parents rang and asked me to come home for dinner. They'd called at least 10 times before. I'd always invented an excuse. This time I couldn't refuse. It was Nina's mom's 62nd birthday. On the way I stopped at a jewelry store and bought a gold necklace. Nina's mom loved gold. I hadn't expected Dylan to walk in right after me. When I arrived he was ladling soup for them. His hand paused for a beat, then carried on as he reminded them. The soup's still hot. Be careful. I sat opposite him. Dylan didn't look awkward. He reached for the ladle to serve me. Don't trouble yourself. I've got it. I leaned forward to take the spoon from him. It's no trouble. You never liked serving yourself soup. His gentle smile froze me. I said nothing and sat back. Dinner was awkward. I pushed rice around my bowl while the three of them chatted happily. When a question came my way I only gave a nod or a flat haha. The elders glanced at each other over their bowls. Only Dylan kept smiling. Afterward they asked Dylan to drive me back to the hotel. I played my favorite trick. Pretended to doze off the moment I buckled in. Dylan stayed silent, both hands on the wheel, driving steadily, but traffic ahead clogged up. The line of taillights stretched forever. That man, who is he? Dylan asked. Calm. What? I thought he'd uncovered something. My eyes snapped open. I thought you'd tell me, but it looks like you won't. What on earth was he talking about? I don't follow. I shook my head, utterly lost. You divorced me because there's someone else, right? His gaze stayed on the endless red lights, but his voice was ice cold and it stung. Nina, are you planning to keep hiding it? We're divorced now. I hope you'll at least tell me. A flash fire of anger shot through me. Dylan, you're the one hiding another woman. You. I know. I haven't done a single thing to betray you. His mouth hung half open in shock. What are you talking about? I thought my acting was solid. Turns out the real performer had been sitting beside me all along. I lost it, spewing every ugly, stinging word I could find, rattling off Dylan's hypocrisy and unfaithfulness like a machine gun. I even dragged in the night of the crash, and, of course, I spoke as Nina. That night I knew you'd slept with someone else, so I got drunk and went to Serena. I told her everything. She saw how wrecked I was and insisted on driving me home. Neither of us dreamed the crash would be that horrific. Tears streamed down my cheeks. I didn't let him finish. I shoved the door open and ran. Under the heavy night sky, I darted through lanes of traffic, headlights flashing past, not knowing where I was going, just running. Nina, I'm useless, aren't I? I lashed out at him for you, but I'm falling apart inside. I'm playing deserter, running away from him again. Nina, I'm sorry. I don't think I'm living your life the way you deserved. No matter how badly Dylan treated you, the truth is I can't hate him. Because, just like you, I've loved this man my whole life. Serena, let me introduce you. I was dreaming, reliving the very first time I met Dylan. Back then, the three of us were still kids, barely 12 or 13. What did we know about love? Yet I can still taste the feeling. The first time I ever saw a boy that handsome and shy. Dylan wore a sky blue button-down and the most ordinary pair of jeans. Standing across from Nina and me, he smiled gentle, eyes bright. One look and it felt as if the universe had already decided something extraordinary would follow. Serena, Dylan and I are getting married. You're my Loctite maid of honor pick. For no reason the scene jumps forward. I remember the gorgeous bridesmaid dress I wore that day. Dylan had helped choose it. He grinned and said, Serena, the color eats you alive. Stunning. Then, playful, he added, still, the most beautiful woman in the room will always be my bride. The whole salon cracked up. I laughed too. I stretched my mouth wide, but inside I ached. I had to hold still. One dip of my head and the tears would spill. When I finally drifted awake, it was the dead of night. Outside the window the sky was ink black. My phone buzzed non-stop. Incoming call. The screen showed a string of missed calls. Every single one from Dylan. My stomach lurched. I was too scared to call back and hear his voice. After a beat I just texted, what's up? Nothing massive. I leave for Northbridge tomorrow. 2-week trip. We left things hanging last night. I want to clear the air before I go. There's nothing left to say. Nina, the woman you are right now feels like a stranger. I'd convinced myself you were leaving me for someone else. For your happiness, I swallowed it, even though it shredded me. Then tonight you claim there's no other guy. Fine, hear me now. I could never love any woman but you. I swear to God. What on earth is happening? The words Nina said right before the crash echo in my skull. I know her. She's not the type to throw wild accusations. She must have had proof. My head spins. Finally I text, I'm exhausted. Let's drop it until you're back from Northbridge. 2 weeks. Not long, not short, but I know I have to dig out the whole truth before he returns. If he's telling the truth, then everything I've believed since the soul swap could be dead wrong. Starting the next morning, I pound the pavement. I keep wondering, did Nina meet someone right before the wreck? And what did that person say? Whoever it was, they had to be convincing. So, in Nina's name, I phone every friend she has. One after another I ask if they saw her the day of the accident. Every answer is no. Had she hired a private investigator? The idea flashes in, but this city is packed with agencies. Hunting the right one could take forever. Besides, she might not have used a PI at all. I feel like I've hit a dead end. Watching the sky pale with zero urge to sleep. A sudden ring jolts me from a shallow nod off. I don't even recall dozing. The clock says I was out barely 40 minutes. On the line is Nina's mom, voice cracking. Dylan's been hurt, bad accident. The phone slips, thuds to the floor. For a second I think it's a trick to drag me to Northbridge, but when Nina's parents show up drenched in tears and haul me onto the first flight, I know it's real. Dylan is hurt. I suck in a breath, forcing calm. Right now I'm not Serena. I'm Nina, Dylan's ex-wife. Dylan stays unconscious. I step into his room, tiny single, and the walls feel like they're closing in. He lies sheet white, bandages seeping at the chest, left leg in a cast, tubes snaking everywhere. Police said he was stabbed saving someone from a mugger. I clap a hand over my mouth to muffle any sound. I lose track of time until a whisper floats up. Nina? I don't answer. I just watch. I thought I was dreaming, but you're really here. A blissful smile spreads across his face. I know that smile. Every time he looks at Nina, it's identical. My heart gives a sudden, bruising thump. I came with your parents. They're frantic, I say, turning away. He nods once, accepting the half-truth. Recovery drags. Half the time he won't follow doctor's orders. They're at their wits' end. He tells them, I want to heal, but if I can't see her, I've got zero drive. We all know who her is. I didn't expect this stubborn streak. Unable to refuse Nina's pleading, and honestly wanting him better, I show up daily. Sure enough, the minute I appear he hops to it with the nurses and docs. While he's in therapy, I sit outside reading. We barely speak, yet the silence feels like old habit, as if we never left each other's side. A few days later it's Nina's birthday. I don't remember first thing. I arrive in the morning. He eyes me odd, but I shrug it off. In the afternoon, as I'm leaving, 2 nurses wheel in a towering fruit-covered birthday cake. Only then do I realize the date. Happy birthday, Nina. He can't stand, but the nurses plant bright little candles. You used to count down to today. How'd you forget? He studies me. Guess I blanked. I laugh weakly. Pretty lousy memory. You forgot I'm a chalk cake addict. I scoop a bite anyway. Mango's not bad, though. I looked up and saw Dylan's dark brows knit tightly together. Why are you out of bed? Your leg isn't healed. I hurried to push him back, but I couldn't match Dylan's strength. He swayed to his feet anyway. Your memory's worse than mine. Every year on your birthday, besides cake and a big dinner, we have to dance, otherwise you'll lose it. His eyes glimmered with something complicated. I swallowed. Awkward. I'd known Nina for years. I was aware of plenty of her quirks, yet these tiny details were secrets only she and Dylan shared. How many could an outsider ever know? But you're still hurt. It's fine. Dylan caught my hand at once and stared deep into my eyes. All tenderness. He couldn't move much, and the hospital bed was cramped, so he just clasped my hand and guided it through a few simple steps. His hot breath fanned across my face. The clean line of his lips filled my vision. The heat of his palm scorched my cheeks red. I knew exactly who I was. Knew the real owner of this body was Nina. Still, I couldn't help begging heaven to freeze this single second forever. Nina, Dylan whispered, lips brushing my ear so softly his voice trembled. I swear on my life, I've never done a thing to betray you. When they nearly beat me to death on that street, you were the only person in my head. I hadn't known real grief until that night you asked for a divorce. It was the single blow I've ever taken. I shut my eyes in agony, my heart pounding like a drum. Someone must have spread lies to drive us apart, I said. Yes. Dylan nodded. He hesitated, plainly weighing whether to name the person. The one who stirred this up is someone both of us know. I lifted my head, staring in disbelief. Who? Serena. What? My eyes widened in panic. She told me herself that you were seeing another man behind my back. It felt as though I'd been packed in airtight ice. I could barely breathe. Every heartbeat slowed. Nina, there's something I'm not sure I should tell you. Last week, and again yesterday, I saw Dylan shopping at the mall with a woman carrying her bags. Dylan, there's something I'm not sure I should tell you. Lately Nina keeps asking me to meet some rich guy with her, but something about their relationship feels off. Those lost memories drifted back piece by piece. Once, I'd foolishly thought that once Nina and Dylan married, I'd give up, but heaven refused to cooperate. Nearly 7 years had passed, and I loved Dylan just as fiercely. It was like a beast living inside me, growing bigger and bigger until it finally tore through my skin and burst out. For one crazed moment, I lost control and did what I did. Then the crash came, and our souls swapped. The memory I despised most was buried so deep I didn't recover it until Dylan's words yanked it to the surface. Turned out the person who truly murdered Nina was me, yet I was the one left alive in her body, while she, in mine, had left this world forever. Dylan still stood in front of me, but his gaze blurred, turned distant, foreign. You're not Nina, are you? My heart clenched. Thud, thud. Whenever Nina and I fight, she never just sits there cold and silent. Nina's stomach is iron. She's never touched antacid in her life. She won't sip soup with a spoon, too lazy. She's never once forgotten her own birthday. And she won't touch mango. She's allergic. He looked at me as if I were a stranger. No, a monster. Who are you really? Tears flooded my face. I couldn't squeeze out a single word. That day of the crash. Nina and Serena. Don't tell me you're Serena? I couldn't bear his gaze any longer. Crying, I bolted from the room. In my panic, I forgot his leg was injured, that he couldn't chase me. The elevator was out of order, so I hit the stairwell and ran. I knew the debt I'd created was bottomless, and I had no idea how to repay it. In my daze, I missed a step, tumbling head over heels down the flight. My skull striking the edge of a tread, blood gushed out. I was wrong. I'm sorry, Nina. I'm sorry, Dylan. Bright daylight stung my eyes as they fluttered open, to find Nina's face inches from mine. Ah! I shrieked uncontrollably. Stop screaming. The ceremony's about to start and you're still napping. We've been hunting everywhere for you. Nina laughed, tapping my forehead. What? Only then did I notice. Nina stood in a snow-white wedding gown, her makeup flawless. I glanced down at myself. Wasn't this the exact bridesmaid dress Dylan had handpicked for me? Could it really be the day Nina and Dylan married 7 years ago? I was frozen, moving like a puppet behind the others. Soon I saw Dylan, always so gentle, always so composed. How I longed to step closer, just a little nearer. Yet every moment we just lived through felt too real to be a dream. I started backing away. I still remembered every detail of this day, and only now did I realize that perhaps this very scene, so blissful it seemed unreal, planted a tiny seed of resentment deep inside me. As the years slipped by, that seed silently grew into a towering tree. I do love Dylan, but I love Nina even more. I couldn't imagine how empty my life would have been without her. She wasn't just a friend. She was family without the shared blood. How on earth could I forget that? Blinded by envy, what crimes had I committed? Only now did I finally see. Nina, please forgive me. I only wanted something so badly. Love. You're so dazzling. You had everything. You even had Dylan's heart. And for one twisted moment that drove me to a fatal mistake. I knew I couldn't stay here. If heaven had hurled me back 7 years, maybe it was to give me a chance to bow out of this story on my own. Nina and Dylan's love had to end in happily ever after. This time, I finally understood what I had to do. The ceremony was minutes from starting, but I'd vanished. Nina rushed around in panic while I vanished into the crowd. My fingers danced over the screen. Nina, I wish you and Dylan a lifetime of happiness. I love you both. Message sent. I didn't look back. I simply walked away.